Hi, and thank you for listening. This is Sherry Andrea, and I appreciate you. If you're looking for me, my website address is sherryspeaks.com. That's with an S on the end, sherryspeaks.com. You can go to my website for all different kinds of things. Reiki attunements, there are now, this number may be wrong, but there are now 56 different attunements. You can download manuals for free. You can ask for a personal attunement. What that means is instead of self-attuning yourself, if you'd like me to attune you, I do the personal attunements for only $2.50 each. And yes, I know that's really inexpensive, and there are some people that aren't very happy about the prices that I offer you guys, but I have my reasons. And also, there are some things that you can read there on various topics, empathy, different metaphysical topics, spiritual topics, healing topics, a little bit of everything. So feel free to go visit. You'll also see the links if you want to either get an intuitive coaching session or a reading. Of course, there's a contact page. So if it's just a quick question that you have for me, feel free to go to the contact page and, fill out the form, and it'll shoot me an email. And I usually always respond to everyone. So, this is probably going to be a short video, and I probably shouldn't say that because every time I say this is going to be a short video, it ends up being like 40 minutes. Yeah, that's me. But anyway, this is something short and something brief, something that you always want to remind yourself of, be reminded of. Don't listen to and believe what I say. I know that's really, really funny. It's like, is she really saying this? Is she really telling me this? Yes. There's a point, though. I have a point. This goes for anyone that you listen to or that you read. I don't care what it is. Don't believe what we say. You're not supposed to believe us, like a teacher, Reiki teacher, spiritual teacher, law of attraction teacher. You are not supposed to believe what we say. You're not supposed to just take our word for things. We originally studied, meditated, and intuitively got information, or in meditation turned that knowledge we took into understanding, or were helped along with things by our higher self. So think about it that way, is that originally that is what we did. Originally, all of us that are sharing the knowledge and understandings that we've attained with you, we originally got that from somewhere. We originally built up that understanding that we have. And you should do the same as we have done. And that is one of the biggest things that we all should be teaching you, is how to do that same thing for yourself. So for those of you who, not only listen to my videos, but a lot of others, you have to keep that in mind. You listen or you read, and then hopefully you're meditating at least, once a day, even if for only 10 or 15 minutes. But you give it time. You listen and you give it time. You could think of it as time to sink in, but really what it is more time for your own higher self to kind of take that knowledge that you've taken in and kind of turn it around, flip it around, look at it from all perspectives, munch on it, and then tell you what it is, what the truth is. So for example, if I say, hey, the sky is always blue. Now, if I make a statement like that, I expect you to not just take my word for it. I expect you to kind of take that in, ponder it, and then you tell me, what is it that your higher self is telling you about what I've just said, or about that topic? What does your higher self say about the statement of the sky is always blue? your higher self is going to tell you. Your higher self is going to let you know. Does that ring true? Does that ring false? Is that not quite true, but heading in the right direction? Your higher self will tell you. Your own self will tell you. So take the information in, but remember, you've kind of got to digest it and allow that to flip over and over and over inside of you until it turns into understanding, to the point where you can then say, somebody once said the sky is always blue. And what I know to be true is the sky is sometimes blue. It's sometimes orange. It's sometimes gray. And there are reasons for that. So this is what you should be doing. Don't take a person's word for it. Because also the other problem with this is that sometimes it will confuse you. Generally, as humans, when we want to learn something, we think the more we read about it, the more we listen to people talk about it, the deeper our level of understanding is going to get. But actually, sometimes that can kind of go the opposite way, and we can actually end up getting actually more confused. The more we're trying to grasp that information and the more reading we do, sometimes it can lead to confusing us. And that does sometimes happen. And that's when you know, okay, it's time to take a little step back from this and allow my higher self the time it needs to help me understand this, because now I've gotten to this point where I've taken in so much on this topic that now I'm a little bit confused. I don't know if it's left, if it's right, if it's up, if it's down. It's okay. Just take a step back. You're not in any hurry. Allow your higher self the time it needs to give you that ultimate understanding and truth. Now, the reason why I thought of this and I thought to do a little short video about this is because so many times on the YouTube videos, especially the attunement ones, people will come along and they'll be like, oh, don't listen to people like this. They're just con artists. They're this, they're that. This person doesn't know what they're talking about. Okay, that's from their perspective. Wherever they're at, whatever level they're at, there's this perspective they have, because there's this level of understanding that they're at. There's this level of truth that they're at. And so they're at a place where, yeah, there'll be many people that they would say that of. It may or may not be true, but from their perspective and their level, the person maybe that they've listened to is just totally full of crap. And you know what? That's fine. Everybody has the right to be at the level they're at and work from that level. Now, of course, there's still always karma. So there's a way to do anything. There's more than one way to effectively do something. Just earlier this week, somebody said to me they had I don't even know whether to call it, they were in a new relationship. It really wasn't a relationship. They weren't boyfriend and girlfriend, but they were going back and forth and kind of bickering. And the guy goes, "You're always so mean to me. You're constantly, on my case, and you're just being so mean and nasty to me." And she says, "I was told by a friend that based on the type of person you are and what you've been doing and how you don't have your life together right now, that what I need to do is I need to be tough on you to help you." She goes, like tough love. And I actually started to giggle a little, and I don't mean to laugh. Often people are like, "Sherry, don't laugh at me." But I had to giggle a little, because it's interesting how sometimes people have this perspective that they're doing something good for someone. And in fact, she thought she was like, "I'm giving you tough love. I wouldn't do this if I didn't care about you, if I didn't love you." with all my heart, I love you, and this is why I'm being so tough on you, and why I'm saying the craziest, most cruel things to you, because I'm trying to help you. And yeah, I got a real giggle out of that. And I told her, I said, you got to keep in mind there's more than one way to accomplish something. Early on, I used to repeatedly say to myself, with dignity and grace, and I would say that phrase to myself often, with dignity and grace. And the reason why is I was trying to remind myself, whatever you do, attempt to do it with dignity and grace. And so before I would do something or say something, sometimes I would say that phrase in my head, because what I was trying to do is, okay, the way I'm getting ready to react or respond, will that be with dignity and grace? Will that be something I'm proud of myself for? Or will I be responding or reacting in a way where I'm not proud of myself for it, and where I'm going to be thinking, oh, I could have handled that better, nicer, in a more decent way? So there's more than one way to accomplish anything. And even though, karmically speaking, it is very karmically bad to tell somebody that they're wrong, if you're trying to voice that you don't believe in what a person is saying, it is okay to say, well, that's not my belief. However, there are some people that will come at you in a way where they're just, they'll come at you in a cruel way. Like, oh, she's full of crap. Don't believe her. They're just con artist, and it's in a very mean, harsh, cruel way that actually was never necessary. Coming at a person in a way where it's almost like you've got to wonder, okay, was it something personal? Did you have something personally against her? So that's what kind of made me think of doing this video and reminding you that you're not supposed to be just taking my word for it and like running with it. You are supposed to be giving your higher self and allowing your higher self that time to determine for you what the truth is, and what the understanding is about the topics that I talk about. Don't rush it, because like I said, you shouldn't feel that you're in a hurry to understand something. You should feel like you always have the time to give it, no matter how much time that is, whether it's a day, a week, a month, a couple of years. It's not unusual for somebody to take actually a year or two to actually be allowing that time to finally realize the what's the truth about something, and to realize their understanding about it. Because sometimes when it comes to the higher self trying to get through to us and get that information to us and that correct understanding, sometimes it can take a while, because sometimes we go through periods of time where it's not that we're not listening, but where it's like our higher selves, the angels, the ascended masters, they've been screaming this information at us. Oh, it's this. And we're listening, but we're just still not getting it. So sometimes, yeah, it takes time. In the process of determining what you believe to be is true, what your higher self tells you is true, just remember to allow others to be wherever they're at. If you realize some truth, right? And you're excited and you're like, finally I understand this. That's awesome. But now do not go out there and try to basically smite down everybody else that hasn't reached that same level of understanding yet. You have to respectfully allow them the same time to get there that you were allowed. That was a gift you were given, and that should be a gift that you think that anyone else should get. I was allowed that time, so what I'm saying is, I don't think that I'm more special than somebody else, that I should be allowed the time and to gain that understanding and somebody else shouldn't be. No, you have all the time. All of us, we have all the time we need. And if another person's not there yet, they'll get there eventually. Allow them that time and space to get there. It's not a race. It's not a race, and there's no reason why we're in a hurry. Try to do things with dignity and grace. Especially when it comes to responding to YouTube videos, responding to blog posts. You know, Try not to create bad karma for yourself in the process of telling someone you don't believe in them or you don't believe in what they're saying. You don't want to hurt your own self in the process of trying to hurt somebody else or trying to tell somebody else that they're wrong. So just remember that going forward. If you need to write a note, which I always do this, write a note, put it on the back of your bedroom door, allow the time, write something like that, or, write yourself a note. It's not a race, or just a simple note saying, what does my higher self say? Because if you could just remember to stop and ask that question, you would kind of be asking it to yourself. What does my higher self believe about this? What does my higher self think? What am I feeling like my higher self thinks about this or that? What do I feel like my higher self thinks I should do? Remember, start asking yourself that question all throughout the day when it comes to things, so that you can start that process of living life more as your higher self and more being guided by your higher self. Well, I hope that you've enjoyed this video. And if you have any comments, feel free to leave them for me. Any comments, any experiences, any stories of something that you've been through that reminds you of, what I've been talking about, feel free to share them, because they really do help everyone when you share. And I appreciate that. Well, I appreciate you. Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day, and thank you for taking the time to listen. Namaste.